potential champions, diamonds in the rough. And I say diamonds in the rough because that is what my coach, Coach Joe Hilton, called me my freshman year. Because I had only participated in track and field for 2 years when I came to Carolina. My encouragement to you tonight is to focus on your will to maximize your potential, to be the best that you can be as a scholar first, and then as an athlete. So what I would like to do tonight is to think about the word potential and its use as a noun. It has many different definitions, but potential as a noun is defined as latent qualities or abilities that may be developed and that lead to future successes. And I would like to take that word, potential, and use it as an acronym as it relates to student athletes. And the acronym that I have chosen for the word potential goes as follows. The P, passion. In order for you, or any athlete, or any coach, any teacher, any administrator, to reach and develop their potential, you must have a strong desire to succeed in whatever you undertake. That passion would dictate what you put into your school, what you put into your schoolwork, what you put in your sport. And it will also dictate what you get out of it. That passion is what drives you when the coach wants you at the field at 6 o'clock in the morning. You may not want to be there, but because of that drive to succeed, you are there. And you want to make sure that everyone else is there because you not only want to succeed as an individual, you want to succeed as a team. The O, opportunity. Look at every training session, every competition, every event, and every class as an opportunity to learn as well as an opportunity to improve. That opportunity is not something that we should take for granted because it's not afforded to all. There are many that would like to be seated where you are tonight, but for some reason or another, they are not. So that opportunity is not something that we should take for granted. Even when we walk into a classroom, the opportunity to be there, to be under the great teachers that you have here at Woods. That's not something that's afforded to everyone. It's something that should be taken for granted. But it should be something that you look at that every day you walk through those doors, you want to improve. Some aspect of your life, some aspect of your academics, some aspect of your athletics. Trust, the T. You must first trust your brain and your body. There must be a trust between you and your coaches because this is relating to athletics. And there must be trust between you and your teammates. Because when you're on the basketball court and you've gone through all of your drills and the coach has set out plays at where you don't have to think he's supposed to be there. That's trust. You don't have to think about it. You throw it ahead because you know he's going to be there. There has to be that trust between you and your coach so that he can develop your potential through workouts, through training. Because if there's ever a breakdown in either level of that trust between you and your body, between you and your coach, between you and your teammates, your development, your potential is hindered for development. Mr. Bryan made reference to 1972 when I was Atlantic Coast Conference long jump champion. I was favored to win the long jump indoors that year. But on my first, I was the first jumper in competition, and on my first jump, we had to use flats because we couldn't use spikes in the woolen gym. And they had forgotten to sweep off the runway. So where I planted my foot on a pile of sawdust, and I hyperextended my knee. And then that's the only year that I did not place in the long jump, either indoors or outdoors. At the ACC Outdoor Championship in Virginia, my junior year, I was again favored to win the championship because indoors my roommate won it. Well, I had one jump left in that competition, and I was sitting in 5th place. They called my name for my last jump. I went to Coach Joe, and I said, Coach, something's not working. I need to change something. If this is going to work in this meet, I need to change something. Coach looked at me, and he called me Hubert. He said, Hugh, do whatever you need to do. I changed my entire approach that I've been using for 3 years for that one jump. My coach had trust enough in me to realize that whatever I decided to do, whatever the outcome, we decided together. And on that particular occasion, changing something that I'd used for 3 years, it resulted in me going from 5th to 1st in one jump. And that catapulted me into my senior year where I was not under 24 feet indoors, except one time. And that was the wrong one to be under 24 feet, which was the NCAA championships. So instead of me, with my best jump, probably put me in the top 10, I was 17th. But I'll take 17th in the nation because it was something that I worked for. And it was because of the trust that my coach had in me to change something that resulted in that. And it resulted in that jump of 24 feet, 7 1/4 inches that stood for 19 years as an indoor long jump record at Carolina. And I'm proud to say today that the individual that broke that record is a young man by the name of Galin Johnson. Anybody ever heard of Galin Johnson? Olympic champion in the hurdles. A lot of people don't realize he was a 26-foot long jumper. And he's the one that broke my record at UNC. Easy. E. You've realized, I'm sure, and if you haven't already, you will realize it, that most endeavors do not come easily. Whatever you accomplish in life, whether it's in academics, athletics, or any other endeavor, it comes with a price. In academics, or any other phase of life, it comes with long hours. As we say, burning the midnight oil. Studying for those exams that your teacher tells you the day before that you've got one tomorrow. The price for athletics, again, as I said, those early morning runs of getting together. The sweat, the sore muscles, and yes, sometimes even tears. Because when we first started our athletic program, our women's track and field program, that was something I had to learn. If a young lady lost a race, she cried. If she won a race, she cried. So I had to learn. She's gonna cry one way or the other. So there are gonna be tears. So it comes with a price. Now and again, never doubt your abilities. This is one of my pet peeves as a coach. Nothing upsets me more than to have an athlete doubt his or her own ability. It's even more disheartening when they doubt their own ability before they ever step on the field or step on the track. My advice to any athlete, never go into competition with a defeated attitude. Always go into the competition with the thought that you're going to win. Give it your best. I always used to tell my athletes, if your best today, well, in 100 meters, if your best today is 10.5 and you run 11.7, you haven't given your best. But if your best is 11.7 and you run 10.5, you've gone overboard. Your best is what your ability allows you to do that day. And if you have given everything that you can possibly give at that given moment, to me, you're a winner. Whether you're 4th, 5th, or 6th, or dead last. But if you have given your all, you are a winner in my book. In the early years of our athletic program, our women's track and field program at Carolina, the University of Virginia was what we call the top dog in women's track and field. They had won some national championships indoors, they had won some cross-country national championships. And we were at Virginia for the outdoor championship, one of the first ACC outdoor championships. And we had some good distance runners. And one in particular was running the mile. And I told her before that meet, I said, don't be concerned about who's in your race. You want to run your race, the one that we have prepared for this particular meeting. And for 3 laps, and I emphasize 3 laps, she was running the race of her life. She was running stride for stride with the indoor national champion that year. Was not paying attention. She was in what we call a zone. And we got to the point where it came from the gun route. And as most runners would do, they would check out who they're running, who's near them. Well, she happened to look as she crossed the line and the gun fired from the gun route. She turned to look to see who she was running stride for stride with. And I could see her just so. She was in 2nd place. She finished that race in 8th place. And I asked her after the race, so what happened? She said, I looked over and I saw who I was running beside. And I felt like I didn't belong there. And I said, you belong there for 3 laps. If you'd stayed there, you would have been right behind her when she crossed the finish line. And from that day on, she told me, I'll never do that again. Because she doubted her ability. For 3 laps, she was running to her capabilities. But then she looked to see who she was running beside. And she felt like, I don't belong up here. But she did belong there. And she went on to have a very good career at Carolina. T, talent. As many of you know, if not, I'm telling you tonight, you will not reach your full potential on talent alone. You can be the most talented athlete in the school. If you don't work to improve that talent, you will not reach your potential. We all know that we are not all star athletes, and you don't have to be. However, self-motivation, enjoyment, diligence, consistency, and solid training will always outweigh mere talent. Another example from my coaching years at Carolina, we recruited 2 triple jumpers from the same school in Durham. One was on scholarship, one was a walk-on. The one that was a walk-on came in, he came by the office, and I coached the triple jumpers. And his statement to me was, Coach, y'all put faith and trust in me to bring me in, and I want to do my very best to reward you for that. That young man, by the end of his college career, was a 49, 50-foot triple jumper. He came in at 45. And he was also on scholarship. The one that was more talented of the two, but was a little lazy, was no longer on the team. So it was not just talent alone, but it was talent, it was motivation, and it was desire on the part of the one that wound up being the 49-foot triple jumper. They were about the same. But the one that was not on scholarship outworked the other. And he wound up getting the scholarship that the other one lost. Influence. Influence is twofold. Who influenced you in your pursuit of academic and athletic success? And who are you influencing? That is, who is watching you? Who wants to emanate you? And as a leader, and you are, is your influence positive or is it negative? That's something we have to think about. The A, as Mr. Bryan said, the academics. All the previous points that I've gone through are nullified without a solid academic background and a solid academic base. Athletics should be seen as a means to an end, not the end in itself. I'd just like to recite some statistics for you. And I'll start with basketball. Out of all the male high school basketball players, only 3.3% of them make college rosters. Only 1.2% of them play professionally. For women's basketball, the statistic is 3.7 make rosters. 0.9% play professionally. Couldn't find any statistics for women's soccer, but for men's soccer, 5.7% make college rosters, and 1.9% of them play professionally. The point? Look realistically to the future. Plan your life that in order, if you make it professionally, wonderful. But if not, you can still have a productive, fulfilling, and happy life. And finally, the L, live. Live life to the fullest. Determined to give life your best in every endeavor and on every level, and purpose to enjoy the journey. Now let's recap. P, passion. O, opportunity. T, trust. E, nothing comes easily. N, never doubt your abilities. T, talent. I, influence. A, academics. L, live life to the fullest. Congratulations to each of you for a job well done.